New draw. I'll be damned. That was an ultimate weapon. Dang it. Crossover limited Aerith weapon that grants fire, ice, and lightning resist down to all enemies is available now, plus an Aerith exclusive ultimate weapon, which increases all allies' ATB gauges by 3. That seems pretty strong. We're gonna check the details on that. New draw. This will be the premium one. Yep. Yep. Cool. New draw. This will be the step up. Okay, they brought the step up draw back. That's cool. So the first one's going to be free, which is dope. And if you get up to 7, you get the weapon as a bonus. So this is a good way to get, if you're a money spender in the game, this is a guaranteed way to get yourself an extra copy. Obviously, it's also included in the odds, which is good. Means the free draw might actually get you a weapon, which is dope. All right, here we go. Oh gosh, it's perfect, dude. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's so well done. Like everything, it looks like Terra. That's crazy, dude. Oh god, they even made the staff kind of look like a sword too. You see that? Oh, it looks like a hilt there. Because Terra actually uses swords in Final Fantasy VI, but they turned it into a rod or a staff. This is dope. I love the little ribbon too. Yeah, this is great. The little dagger on the side. This is so cool, dude. This looks so good. Yeah, this looks so good. I'm really impressed by this. They did a great job with this outfit. It's fantastic. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. All right, let's see it. I mean, this is insane. Yeah, this is insane. So I don't need to tell people to pull for one of these. You should get at least one. First of all, just because, right? Just because. But second of all, this is insanely useful for, like, first and foremost, because it allows Aerith now to reduce the resistances of 3 of the 6 elemental types. She also has a wind resist down weapon already. So the only 2 elements that she cannot reduce for right now are water and earth. She can reduce for all 4 of the other 4 elements she can reduce now. And this is not only a reduction for a single target, it's a reduction in an area of effect. And this is the crazy part about this weapon that I think may have flown under some people's radars. This is her strongest non-elemental damage weapon for magic in the game, for Aerith specifically, and its area of effect. So not only is it giving you 62 boost HP, which is great, it's giving you buff debuff extension, which is also great. 35 seconds is a lifetime in this game. Like, just to put that out there as well. It starts at mid and goes to high at OB0, so even 1 copy of this is immediately useful. It hits the entire enemy team, which is only generally good in certain circumstances, right? Most of the time you're using this on a single target, so the AoE aspect of this is not super important. However, in the cases where it is important, like say when you're fighting 2 massive dickheads like we were in the guild battle, this is super useful if they're weak to those 3 elements. If they're not, then obviously it's not. But also, Aerith doesn't have a good magic damage weapon, or didn't have a good magic damage weapon, and now she does. Is it very good? No, it's not. It's very low in terms of overall DPS. There are magic non-elemental damage weapons that do way more damage than this, including Tifa's recent weapon that does over 1100. Sephiroth's weapon, the Protector's Blade, that does non-elemental damage. It starts at 900%, but doesn't have the debuffing effect, which is why Aerith's is a little bit lower. But like, so if you have Sephiroth's AoE magic damage weapon, it's much better in terms of overall damage. It's just cool that Aerith has a 660 magic attack support weapon that does damage. That's it. That's just good. It's a good weapon. It's good R abilities. These are good defensive and support R abilities. It's nice to have a good support weapon that has a good magic attack stat. So this is just a good weapon, like overall. In terms of the weapon itself, you should pull at least one of these, just like everything with on these limited banners, because these weapons are probably not coming back for a long time. So if you're wanting to get, you want to at least get a 3 or 4 star copy of this so you can use weapon parts to improve it. That said, Aerith is one of the few characters in this game, including Tifa and Cloud, who have an absurd amount of limited weapons. So in terms of should you pull for this, the answer is going to kind of vary, right? For me, the limited weapons that Aerith has, 2 of the 3 of them that I actually value, which is the Kimura Wand and the Bahamut Rod, I have both of them at OB6, and that's high enough for me. So I'm fine committing the rest of my future weapon parts to upgrading this one and getting it to OB6. Where at OB6, this one goes from just mid to high, and the damage increases to 660%, which is a pretty big number for area of effect magic damage, right? Pretty big number. And 605 magic attack at 120 at OB6, which is great in terms of just raw damage, right? In terms of the actual materia abilities, 2 magic boost and an all cure, which is great. Now she's able to put a cure on there as well, so she'll still be able to be your healer while dishing out solid damage and being a good support. This is an excellent weapon. An excellent weapon. Very, 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 very good. The only downside, if you want to call it that, is that Aerith has so many high priority weapons. I'm gonna struggle to find places where I want to use this on Aerith specifically. I feel like this may have been better suited on a different character that has some less impressive weapons, because Aerith's weapons are so good for so many teams that there's going to be there'll be a time where you're sitting there going, I have to choose one not to bring, like, and have to adjust accordingly. It's a first world problem to put it mildly, but that's my only real like downside. Other than that, this weapon is fantastic. It's an area of effect magic damage spell. It does enough damage to make it worth it. Obviously all the resist downs are fantastic. It goes up to high when you get to OB6. You don't even need to get it to OB6 though, because this does damage and goes to high from OB0 from just one copy. You can just keep casting this, continue doing damage, and continue reapplying this debuff with it being extended as well. So pretty darn good, man. Pretty darn good. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the weapon. I'm guessing that the outfit's going to have buff debuff extension plus, which I'm correct, and physical and magic ward, which scares me. Yep. So good. What's interesting is that, so Barrett has had an effect like this previously, right? Where his was actually plus 20 instead of plus 15. I think he also got an HP bonus on that as well. I might be mistaken on that. I'd have to go back and look at the Electro Armor. But 15% physical and magic defense is pretty high. As I've mentioned before, this is anything above double digits or in the double digits is a very high increase to physical and magic defense, especially because physical and magic defense are very prioritized in this game. It's a very good effect, very good defensive effect, very, very good. Will it continue to stay good throughout the course of the game? Time will tell. We'll see. Right now, it's very important. It's a very good way to negate damage, especially in the more difficult fights in the game, including EX fights, EX summon fights, etc. So these are very, 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 very good. Very, very good to have 15% defense. Obviously, having a separate buff debuff extension is very, very strong. This is a great outfit. That's it. That's it. It's a great outfit. The R abilities are great. It's a great weapon. Aesthetically, it's fantastic. This is a great banner. It's a great banner. This is the other thing I want to see. Which I guess we'll just have to kind of read it fast, huh? Because I don't really have another way to look at it. So it restores all allies 30% of their maximum HP and then plus 3 ATB. Boost heal and regen boost, which gives regen to all allies at the start of the battle. Interesting. Huh. I will say that, and I mean this with all due respect, because the weapon itself is good, right? The ultimate weapon is a good ultimate weapon. It's just okay. It's good. Like, it's really good. Really, really good. But heal potency, regen boost is fine. Like, grants regen to all allies at the start of battle. You're not taking damage at the beginning of the fight, right? And the ultimate weapon that you can exchange with ultimate medals does a pretty good heal as is. So I'm actually not too crazy about this. It's good, but I think out of the ultimate weapons we've gotten that have been premium so far, this is probably the least impressive of the three. It's not necessarily better. I think this one is better. It gives plus 3 ATB, which is great. And I think that's the real sell. And it does go off twice, which is also good. But the regen boost is just kind of like, it's whatever. It's cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. In terms of the wish list, boy, I really don't have a whole lot of good things to add here, honestly. This is a pretty well-rounded main hand weapon. You're already getting max boost HP. Which I'm sorry, it's not max. It goes to 60. It goes up to 100 points, so you can go up even higher. But it does give you immediately to boost 7 when you have OB10. Assuming that we're pulling to OB6, which is probably what I would recommend, you'd still need 1 more point to get it to the boost 55 if you wanted to get it there. Otherwise, you'd be sitting at the 45-point breakpoint. I think that's fine. I don't think you need to go much higher than that, so you can just leave that as is. In terms of the offhand weapons, there are a couple of really good options. Citric Wand being one that comes to mind immediately. Gives boost magic attack, which will help amplify some of the magic damage that she's going to be dealing. Also gives another 26 points of buff debuff extension, which would max her out. She's already getting 39 from the main hand weapon. 26 points gets her well above the 200 point or the 55 point threshold, which means she's done. That's all she needs. So now her buff debuff extension is maxed out. She's good to go. And that's it. So for sub weapons, it's just going to be anything that increases her magic ability potency, her magic attack. If she's rocking certain materials that are going to make her do specific damage. If you're using this in tandem, and this is another thing that makes this really, really strong. If you're using this in tandem with something like, say, I don't know, the Egg Staff, which does really good fire damage for both AoE and a single target. This is a great weapon to run with this weapon. And you would actually run the Egg Staff in the main hand and run this weapon in the offhand, and then likely Citric Wand is the sub weapon. So that's an option if you wanted to try to build for Fire Aerith here. I think that's probably a good call. You can also look at Prism Rod. Same concept, really decent magic wind damage. Boost HP again with boost wind potency. That's a really good single target damage weapon. Sun Umbrella is also a pretty good option. Gives you magic attack and magic ability potency, while also decreasing defense and magic defense on a single target. Not bad. Pretty good offhand weapon as well. Couple of, like I said, very, very good options. Even Snowflake, which doesn't do a ton of damage at OB10. It's just a 540%, but it does have a magic defense debuff that goes up too high and a really high magic attack stat, which would make it very easy then for her to max out her magic damage. And also has a cure all in case you wanted to main hand this instead. So you'd be able to main hand Snow Spell, use this to debuff ice resist, and then while their ice resist is down, continuing to reapply magic defense debuffs all the way up to three tiers down, which is very, very strong. So that's an option as well. You can toss that in there. In terms of just offhand weapons, again, generic, good offhand weapons, whatever you need to do. If you're looking for specific to one of the builds, right? If you're trying to get Fire Aerith built, you'd want to look for fire potency weapons that build up your magic attack. Rose Musket comes to mind. because this one is just literally magic ability potency and fire potency with a really good magic attack stat. So that's one that comes to mind. You could also look for specifically just good generic magic damage weapons like Electro Cannon, which increases magic attack by 46 points and magic ability potency by 52. Also just generically a very good weapon for Barret. There are other really good options as well in terms of just magic damage weapons that mostly belong to Vincent. Hugin Immunin, mostly recently released, has a 684 magic attack stat with boost 62 magic attack as a sub weapon and lesser magic ability potency as a result. Still really strong, and in its own right, a very powerful single target damage weapon. So that's a very good option. You could also look at other defensive options if you wanted to do like say a max out HP and magic defense. You could look for Gargantuan Monolith from Angeal. Would give you the rest of the HP that you're looking for and some really crucial magic defense to help increase your magic defense up. So a couple of options with the Angeal banner. I think if I was pulling, this is probably just flat out what I would pull for. This is her strongest magic damage weapon in the game, besides the next to the Prism Rod, the wind damage spell. But this one pairs very well with the Riot Blade. Allows you to maximize your fire DPS, because as it stands today, Aerith did not have a very, very good offhand weapon to pair with Egg Staff. So now she has a weapon that not only does a decent chunk of damage, but also high resist down fire damage, and you're able to now pair a weapon with this fire staff that allows you to now maximize your HP, by the way, because that's something you can also do with this build. But it also allows her as a healer, right? As a healer to do some very, very respectable fire damage on a fire team. So instead of having her be like, you know, the magic defense down, magic attack up, you could run these two weapons next to Fire Tifa using her fire magic weapon and her Bahamut claws, right? The Bahamut fangs that increase your entire team's magic attack. And now all of a sudden you're doing massive amounts of fire damage. Yeah, it makes this a very good draw for like that in particular, right? Because now the last character in the party, somebody just needs to reduce magic defense. That's basically all you're missing at that point, right? Or increase your own defenses. So like a couple of characters come to mind, but there's a few that you could immediately come to. You could go to Zac. Zac also has a magic fire weapon and has a weapon that lowers magic resistance. I believe it is... Nope, that was physical. Dang it. This one. Arc Sword. Gives some magic attack, some water resistance, which is whatever, but it lowers magic defense by high. Not an area of effect, but it is good. The Red 13's Canyon Collar, which is this one, I believe, does an area of effect magic defense down with wind damage. A very, very strong magic damage weapon. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but does do an area of effect magic defense down. So if you wanted to stick with the area of effect lifestyle, you could go with this as well. I think that probably the Zac build would be pretty good. All right, so that's gonna do it for the banner though. Like I said, it's an excellent banner. I don't think there's anything negative I can say about this. Like I said, if you've got the Bahamut outfit, I don't think you need to feel like you have to pull for this.